Idealism prevails.
Make the world a better place.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome, dobrodošli, to the Diplomatic Academy of Vienna, to a very special event. I can tell you in the now many years that I've been director, the biggest events for us are always when a foreign minister gives us the pleasure and the honor to come to us and to address us. It is therefore a great pleasure for me to welcome the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Bosnia and Herzegovina, His Excellency Igor Crnadak. I would like to thank the Embassy of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and in particular, of course, Ambassador Tomislav Leko. Thank you very much for organizing this. One ambassador for Bosnia is not enough, we have two. And it's a pleasure to welcome also Ambassador Sanjin Halimovic, the permanent representative to the UNOSCE. We also have, and we are very honored, and I greet him, the Vice President of the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Milan Dunovic. As is very usual, this kind of event, in particular when it's the region of Central and Eastern Europe, the Institute for the Danube region in Central Europe is co-organizing this, and I welcome Vice Chancellor Busek. Who I know knows more about Bosnia than probably most Bosnians do. So it is always a special pleasure to have you with us. I also would like to mention that the Austrian Institute for European and Security Policy is co-organizing this, and I would like to thank them also. I see a number of ambassadors. I'm not going to now individually greet them all. Let me greet you all together. Thank you very much for coming. The Diplomatic Academy in Vienna, which was founded, forgive me for taking 2 minutes to say this, because it's dear to my heart. I've been here now for 8 years as director, and I was a student here some 50 years ago. It was founded by Maria Theresia in 1754, and it was founded as an Oriental Academy. And the purpose was that after the many years of war with the Ottoman Empire, there was finally peace, and there were experts that were needed. And so she founded the Academy of Oriental Languages, and the young students, they were young boys, had to learn Arabic, Persian, and Turkish. And then they were sent to the Ottoman Empire as experts and in the service of the Austrian Empire. So you see, our roots go very much back to the east of Vienna, to the Balkans and beyond. And this has been our tradition. Many of our graduates in the 19th century were specialists in Oriental studies, and Orient at that time meant also the Balkans. Our students visit your country, Minister, every year. We go to Sarajevo with some 50, 60 students every year. And it is very important, and it's a very special thing for us at the Academy that we are close to our neighbors, in particular east and southeast of Vienna. We also have had some 40 diplomats from Bosnia and Herzegovina who went through courses here at the Diplomatic Academy, and we are very proud of that. Forgive me for just saying this, but this is a very special occasion that we have the Foreign Minister of a friendly neighboring country here in Vienna. You're going to speak about an issue that is a big issue, Bosnia and Herzegovina on the European path, expectations and challenges, and I think both are very high and very great, and we all look very much forward to your speech. After your speech, there's an opportunity for you, the audience, to ask questions, make short comments. We have a certain time limit, so as a moderator, I will be very strict in enforcing the time limit, but now, Mr. Minister, without further ado, may I ask you to address us.
First of all, good evening everybody. Dobro večer svima. It's good to be here. And Mr. Winkler, I have to tell you that this is really all the atmosphere and all the reception here, even much more than what I expected. So thank you very much. I feel great here, and the Diplomatic Academy here in Vienna is a remarkable institution, very well-known institution. It is my pleasure and great honor to be here today, to have a chance to speak to you and to exchange views on very important issue for us. So, first of all, let me also greet all the students. I know that probably the more important and more interesting part of this will be the second part, where we will have some comments and questions. And usually from students we get the most interesting, so I really look forward to this. Also, I would like to greet everybody else, my colleagues from Bosnia and Herzegovina who are also here today, ambassadors, other diplomats, everybody. Really a great pleasure to be here. As you said, this is the topic that is probably the most important at the moment for the country. And the year that is behind us was the most productive year of European integration process for Bosnia and Herzegovina since the process began. It's very important for us to be continuing in the same pace, because European integration process is one of the rare things, one of the rare issues in Bosnia and Herzegovina where we gathered around with huge consensus. So it is, for us, something that we do not want to lose. This consensus gives us strength to continue. And our diplomacy, our people working on this, we are not too big diplomacy, just a small fact. It's 44 embassies, 6 permanent missions, and 6 general consulates. But with what we have, we do what we can to push forward this European integration process, because, like I said, we have huge expectation on this. So let me first just comment on this. Before the few sentences on the expectations, let me just shortly inform you that in 2016 we had applied for the membership in the EU on February 15th. In September, the General Affairs Council decided to have our application as valid one and to initiate the procedure from Article 49 of the treaty, and to invite the European Commission to prepare the avis for Bosnia and Herzegovina. The final and also very important event in last year was on December 9 in 2016, when we have received a questionnaire from the European Commission, and they told me that it was rare that one applicant country does so much in one calendar year. For us it is even more important because it came after 7 years of total blockade regarding the reforms and the European integration process. So this is what we had in 2016. And these are the most important points from the last year, but I want to make it clear. We are aware that even though we had very successful year, the most important phase, the most sensitive phase, and the phase with the probably most challenges and possible obstacles is in front of us just now. So why is this so? Because we, of course, had to meet some criteria to get here. But so far, we could move on forward with a lot of declarations, a lot of decisions that were not followed by some true substantial changes of the country and inside the country. And right now, we are in the crucial phase where Bosnia and Herzegovina will have to answer one question that is more important than any of 3,242 questions from our questionnaire. And this question is, are we really ready? And do we have internal capacities to find the compromise within the country, to find the solutions for all the obligations in front of us, and at the same time hold on to the stable internal political situation that will enable us to deliver reforms to get people what they really want, and it's the true change of life, of everyday life. So I think in next 3 or 4 months we will have the answer to this question. At the moment, like I said, we have more than 3,000 questions from the questionnaire in front of our institutions. And we are working strongly on this. And today, obviously I was not at this session, but today we had a session of Council of Ministers, and we did the first review on how things are moving forward. And it is obvious that by the end of this month, which is the first deadline for some kind of first assessment, that it will look quite good. But still, some of the issues remain, some of the questions remain open, especially those that are closely connected to some sensitive issues, like, for example, I'll just name one example now, the issue of census and the questions related to this issue. So, like I said, the European Union integration of Bosnia and Herzegovina is at the moment an issue with the biggest support around the country. There is not a lot of issues, even of less importance, that you could get such a strong support among Serbs, among Croats, among Bosniaks, in Mostar, in Sarajevo, Tuzla, Bihać, or Banja Luka. This is really the sign that people in Bosnia and Herzegovina have this European spirit inside of them, and that they really live that. They are far away when you look at the procedures, when you look at the changes and the adjustments that our system needs to make, our institutions. But inside, obviously, we have this European idea, European spirit, and European future. So this is why we are so focused on this, so strong on this. Why are the expectations so high? First of all, I usually like to underline one thing when I speak about these issues. I'm not some kind of a special European fanatic. I do not think that things will change on Tuesday after on Monday we enter the European Union. There will not be, salaries or pensions being doubled overnight or anything else. Nothing will happen overnight. But I truly believe that with entering European Union, we get more order, more rule of law, and we get more perspective for everybody. And this gets us to the three key expectations. And it's interesting, when you talk to people around the country, they all come to these three. I've spent a lot of time talking to, especially young people, on what are their expectations, because when you have so high expectations, it's also a problem. People on the positions like mine, they also have this responsibility to manage these expectations and to make them settle in a realistic frame. But it's interesting that the expectations are pretty much the same. Number one, people want peace. People want security, and people want stable environment. And one young student told me a couple of months ago, when we discussed about what are the advantages, he said, if we do not have one bullet fired in next 100 years, and if it's the result of the integration process, we do not need any other positive effect out of this. It's enough. Because, you know, when you talk to any adult in Bosnia and Herzegovina, he or she lived at least through one war. Some of them two, some of them three. And this is number one expectation, that the integration process of Bosnia and Herzegovina, when it's over, that it will mean long-lasting peace, stability, and the final end of all the bloodshed, all the wars that were behind us, not only from 92 to 95, but also in previous times. The second part of expectations on this is economic-related issues. We have the highest unemployment rate among young people in Europe. We have such weak economy that you can maybe better feel the effects of this, not through some figures that I could now throw at you, but through the fact that we have so many people leaving the country. And this is a particularly sensitive issue for me, because I see that in the last months, or let's say last year, or year or two, we see people leaving even though they had jobs, they had their own apartments, they had quite settled in the society. But what they lacked, and why they left when you talk to them, they say because we don't see future here for our kids and for us. So with all this, we still want to leave. And then it gets you really thinking. So the expectation is really strong among those people, because not everybody can leave. That this process will bring us to real life improvement, to better salaries, better pensions, and more predictability of the young people's future. And I am old enough to remember this predictability from pre-war society in former Yugoslavia. You knew it all at the very beginning in elementary school. You would finish elementary school, then you would finish high school, then you would go to college. After you finish, you would get a job, you would get married, you would get a small apartment, you would get a kid, then a bigger apartment, you would build also a weekend house for yourself, you would work from 7 to 3, and you would not think about anything else after 3 o'clock. You would actually enjoy yourself. That kind of predictability will not come back, but this kind of not knowing anything about your future is also not possible to hold on for a long time. So the economic improvement in the future is another big expectation of this process. And the third one is rule of law. Since I have a lot of internal politics duties within my political party, I travel not only around the world, but also I travel a lot around the country. And I can tell you, people, as much as they want better salaries, better pensions, better life, they also want justice. And we have huge corruption in Bosnia and Herzegovina. It's not a specialty of any particular people, any particular entity, any particular political party. It's all around. And we are still, I'm not fortunate to have to say this to you as foreign minister of the country, we are still the only country that has not had one single high-level corruption case prosecuted in our justice system. And the resistance is huge. The new council ministers that came in about 20 months ago, we have made certain improvements with the legislation, with some personal changes. We have produced this political will. We have sent all the good messages to the judiciary system that we want them to work, not to do what we tell them, but just to do their job. And this is why also people have huge expectations from this integration process, that it will make our institutions do their job. It will make, finally, the rule of law really, that you could really feel it for the first time in the country. They also expect more equality of the people in front of the different laws. They also want more chances through their education, through getting jobs, through getting some better positions in their careers, and that it's going to be, when we finish the process, that it's going to be much more up to their abilities, their competencies, and their commitment to what they do, and less to what political party they belong to, or what ethnic group they come from. There is also need for people to understand that the institutions can do their work related to the corruption. Because if this doesn't happen, we will get lost totally as a society and as a country. Because now it's getting perceived as the way of life, almost a normal thing. So this must be stopped, and people feel it can be done through this process. So this is about the expectations. Shortly about two more things that are now important for our European integration process. One is something with very ugly name, but we do not have another one. So it's called coordination mechanism. We've struggled a lot in the last year and a half to finally pass it on our institutions. It's basically really a mechanism in which, through which Bosnia and Herzegovina will be able to have, as they like to say it in Brussels, one voice on any issue. And this mechanism should enable us to have this one voice as a result of all the levels of government that have authority on a certain issue give their say. Because we have, as you know, state level institutions. We have Republika Srpska and Federation Bosnia and Herzegovina institutions. We have cantons, we have cities, and we have counties. And sometimes it's divided precisely. Sometimes you have more levels on on one competency. So this kind of mechanism should enable us to get to this one Bosnia-Herzegovina voice on any issue. Will it work? We'll see in next 3 or 4 months when we do what I just spoke about at the very beginning, answer to the questions from the questionnaire and do the other activities on our way to the candidacy status. Candidacy status is the next step. We expect this to come in next 12 or 13 months, and if things go well, I hope that it's quite realistic. And before we go to questions, please don't ask me about any other deadlines other than this, because I don't know the answer. The only deadline I can speak about tonight is deadline on candidacy status. I believe we can do it by the, let's say, end of February next year. Also, I want you to know that parallelly with this process, and it's basically interconnected, we have our reform agenda. It's a special document that was passed by everybody, and it's interesting that it was passed on Parliament of Bosnia and Herzegovina by all MPs, by all parties, from the Council of Ministers and from the opposition. Basically, this is what we want to do in economy, in social part of the reforms, in rule of law, and other. There are 9 parts, and this is something also that we have a very close eye on while this process goes on. And I'll come just to a few more comments on challenges, and then I think it's better that I give you the floor so that we hear some comments and some questions also from your side. But before the challenges, I just want you to know that when it comes to the priorities of our foreign policy, of our diplomacy, it is European integration process as the priority, but equally important is the regional cooperation for us. Because we understand and we feel that our neighbors, people around us, countries around us are there to stay. They are there around us in this process of integration. They will be there once we are all inside, and we really want to pay much attention to this, and we invested a lot of effort in this in the past years. It is not just sweet talk. It's really what we believe in. And especially we believe that triangle, Serbia, Croatia, and Bosnia and Herzegovina, due to historical reasons, due to different turbulences that were there throughout the years, that it's really triangle of stability and prosperity of maybe not only the Balkan region, maybe even of the whole Southeast Europe. We had on Monday, 2 days ago, very successful and very good, one of the best meetings I've been at in the region in this year and a half. We were hosted in Belgrade by Prime Minister Vučić. Delegation of the Council of Ministers of Bosnia and Herzegovina was there. And we are preparing at the moment, it will be very soon, in maybe a month and a half, first joint session of the government of Croatia and Council of Ministers of Bosnia and Herzegovina in Zagreb. So the regional cooperation should provide, and we believe that's why we do it, should provide the end of this process of reconciliation. It should provide the better atmosphere, softer rhetorics, more ease in everyday life in the public of the countries around us and in Bosnia and Herzegovina. One thing, and the other thing, we expect and we actually produce also some agreements on some, as I like to call them, real life stuff, some joint infrastructure projects, some bridges, some roads, some joint energy projects. And so this is the 2 parts of this regional cooperation priority. One, general messages that should bring more relaxation and ease to the region, and number 2, these infrastructural, energy and others projects that really bring some benefit to everyday people. So the challenges, 2 parts of this. One is internal challenges and the other one is external or EU challenges. Of course, we are aware when it comes to us, most we can do is to face these internal challenges. Where would they be? I think, often they ask us about these 3,242 questions. What is the biggest challenge? So I think that we could, you could have a problem with some question that is maybe looks easy today. But if you have a struggle, political struggle, strong political tensions, some new blockades in the processes within the country, if you have somebody say, okay, because you will not give me what I ask on some other issue, I will stop this process of European integration, then you can have a problem. So it is up to us to show that we are able as a country to make this distinction between the European integration related issues and everyday short term I'll get to you, you'll get to me daily politics. And this is the most important thing I want to say about internal challenges, because it covers all. It covers all. We could go now to questionnaire, we could go to mechanism of coordination and look for those little things where things could be slowed down. But in general, the most important thing is that we make this distinction. If we manage to do this, and I have to say I'm very glad that after some turbulences we had in last weeks, today we had prime ministers of Republika Srpska and Federation sit down and talk about reforms, talk about European integration process, some new laws that we have to have, and other things, real stuff. Then we'll succeed. If we are stuck to the past, if we are stuck to our daily political struggle, then this will turn to be a challenge that we will not be able to tackle. When it comes to external challenges, you know pretty much about this: Brexit, terrorism, migration, financial crisis, refugees. Who knows what will happen next? But the fact is that European Union is still strongly pro-enlargement process. It's still very strong for Western Balkans to be there. Still, we have very strong position on the thesis that European Union will not complete without Western Balkan countries, but we are also aware that it can change. There are different processes in the European Union. We have, only look at 2017. We have Netherlands elections shortly. We have German elections shortly. French elections. We still do not know what will be the repercussions of some of the things that happened in 2016. So we should not take this EU support for our integration for granted. And we should look at, and we do this at the time, as an important factor. I think I would like to stop here in order to really have some comments, have some questions for the second part of this gathering. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Minister. Just allow me to say, it's good these days to hear someone speaking in the name of a country that wants to join the EU. These days, when you are from a country that is already in the EU, you hear some very often, unfortunately, very different voices. So I don't speak for the government, not anymore, but I can assure you, as far as I know, and you will hear this tonight from Minister Kurz, that Austria is very much committed and remains committed to enlargement. And what you said at the end, that in our view, EU is not complete without the Western Balkan countries joining, I think is very much the Austrian view. I can assure you that. And having said this now, I would like to ask you to ask your questions, give your comments. Most of you know the procedure. I'm going to take 3 questions at a time. Please tell us who you are, and please be very short. the minister, as you will imagine, does not have unlimited time. He has a meeting with the Austrian minister tonight. So be precise and to the point. Please, who wants the floor? One? Yes, please.
Hello. First of all, I would like to say hi to everybody. My name is Sara. I'm coming from Banja Luka, Republic of Srpska, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and I'm one of the 50,000 people who are leaving their country every year. So I came here before 1 year to finish my college, and I just wanted to say that I hope so that the process of getting Bosnia and Herzegovina into European Union will change the situation in my country. Even though I'm studying architecture here and Vienna is 10 times bigger than my hometown, and it's a beautiful city, I would really like to get back home, and I really, really hope so that the situation in my country will change.
Thank you very much. Yes, please, gentlemen here in the...
Good evening. Thank you very much for your introductory remarks. My name is Charles Oscar Warner III, social anthropologist studying the intersections between extremism and education. Formerly, I'm a resident of the Republic of Kosovo, a very close neighbor to Bosnia and Herzegovina, and they look to Bosnia and their work today in the accession into the EU. My question, since Kosovo and Bosnia have many similar issues between corruption, infrastructure, education, a number of different issues, but also speaking with one voice when we speak about the minority populations, specifically also the Serbs, both in Kosovo and Bosnia. If the minister could speak a little bit about the efforts to bring everyone to the same table and speak with one voice. Thank you.
Thank you. And we take one third over there.
Hello, my name is Kabir Sokulu. I'm from the Bosnian Austrian Youth Association. I would like to ask the minister if you're going to make some changes to the political system in Bosnia, to the structure itself. As we know that Bosnia has maybe the most expensive and complex political system there. And yeah.
Thank you very much. A very obvious question. Minister, please.
Okay. Since I see there is quite an interest, I'll try to come back to you with the quite short answers, or short enough so we can have some more questions. First, Sara, thank you for these remarks. No special question. I know Sara and her parents from Banja Luka, and I know. Is it working?
Yeah, just speak.
Okay, closer. And I know that I know the what's in the heads of this generation. Really, between this wish to succeed personally, to have their say in their careers, but also to contribute to their own city, to their own country. And I know that there is a lot of them in this gap of expectations and possibilities. And I hope that this process will help you do exactly what you want, to succeed personally and also to bring your country closer to some more prosperous society. Okay, it was interesting what Charles said, this intersection between extremism and education. You know, maybe some 30, 40, 50 years ago in Europe, this would not be so interesting. Today, unfortunately, it is. But when you compare Kosovo and Bosnia and Herzegovina, for me, it's very hard to compare. I know that there were some discussions on possibly having some kind of Dayton arrangement, Dayton-like arrangement for Kosovo, but I think it's incomparable, really. Maybe what can be compared is the need to find a solution that the system functions, and not to use the same approaches. As you know, with Kosovo, situation is still unfinished. regarding the status and regarding the situation in the region. For example, Bosnia and Herzegovina does not recognize Kosovo as an independent state. We do want things to move on everyday life basis. We want easier people to be able to make easier their travels to and from Kosovo and other stuff related to everyday life. But I think very hard to find this comparison, as you said, on building one voice, because I think it's in Bosnia and Herzegovina. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, I think that we have made much more progress on this. I believe so. And in Kosovo, it's obviously very important to finish these talks between Belgrade and Pristina and to settle this system somehow in order to make it functional. And it will bring this question of yours brings me to the third question, actually, on the changes in political system in Bosnia and Herzegovina. You know, we had in 1995 Dayton event in Dayton, Ohio, in the United States. There, the architecture of today's Bosnia, Dayton, Bosnia, was made. In Dayton, it was not only the war that was stopped, but also it was the huge hope and chance given to the three peoples and everybody else, all the citizens in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And I think that we spent a lot of time, and maybe this can be a comparison to Kosovo, that once they have some kind of a deal, that they stick to it rather than challenge it from the day one. So we had challenged Dayton Agreement for so many years, speaking about how the system is expensive, how the system is too big, how the system could be much better, and the energy was lost on this, not on dealing the real life issues. And I must say that I felt some optimism. In October 2015, I was in Dayton for 20th anniversary. And there I saw some of the people who were really maybe the biggest personifications of this approach. From President Clinton to General Clark to Ambassadors Miller and Galbraith to some other people. When I heard from them, some of the messages, I will obviously not quote it, but paraphrase it. It's like that people in Bosnia should turn more to each other, should have more dialogue, should have more discussions on finding the solution among themselves. The system is there, they can change only what they can agree on changing, and this is the substance. That's why I think we got this new chance, this new approach to the development and to progress and to integration of Bosnia and Herzegovina to European Union, because we finally realized this. And when it comes to the complexity of system, maybe it's complex, but don't forget the Dayton Accord. It addressed all the different fears, all the different ambitions, all the different views about country's future. Maybe if there is a mathematician or somebody who can say it in English, najmanji zajednički sadržilac. Who can help? Yeah. Okay. So it's very hard. Common denominator, yes, the least common denominator, exactly. Yeah. So when we have to know if we will change this, we have to agree on how to change it. And you know, I come from Republika Srpska. For me, maybe it would be the easiest thing to answer this like this. In Republika Srpska, you have one president, one assembly, and one government. All the complexity is in the other part of the country. But of course, this is not the answer. The answer is that we have to agree on what we want to change.
Thank you. We have just time for 3 more questions. This gentleman over there, and then the two. Okay, so we take 5 questions, but that's it. Okay, please.
Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Dejan Tadic, and 3 years ago I bought a one-way ticket from Doboj to Vienna, and since then I don't think I miss a single rock from Bosnia. I have to be very honest. So as you can see, a victim of the brain drain effect happening right now. I have 3 points which I would like to state. The first one is just a remark on what you said previously, that there are some hopes that perhaps once Bosnia joins the European Union, there should be a certain increase of the rule of law and something like that in that direction. Sir, I'm ready to bet you €1 million that it's not going to happen. If I had €1 million, I would say, I bet you it just won't happen. That just the status of being a member changes those constants which are a product of a political dead gridlock.
I must ask you to be brief because there's so many others who want to ask questions.
Right. So my second question to you is, what will be the benefit for the European Union if Bosnia joins the European Union? Because just this week, Chancellor Kern said that there should be certain limitations to the access for the job markets in Austria. Again, Austria, the one who strongly enforces the membership of Bosnia. And the third question is, what would you say to somebody who is just like me, who actually moved from Bosnia to the European Union? What's your plan of getting me back and using my potential to build the country?
Okay, thank you. You have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Please, this lady in the middle. Short question.
My name is Irma Kekic. I'm a student at the Diplomatic Academy. I'm originally from Mostar in Bosnia. I have a question about the recent celebration of Republic of Srpska on the 9th of January and how this was seen as unconstitutional by the Bosnian court and also in violation of the Dayton Peace Agreement. And I'm interested to hear your comments on the event and how this caused further tensions and instability in a country which already has enough problems, and how this can be seen as an obstacle in Bosnia's integration to the European Union.
Thank you, and let me say we are very glad to have you here. The lady behind, then sorry, not everybody. Yeah.
Thank you once again for your interesting speech. I'm Apollonia Richterić. I'm also a student here at the Diplomatic Academy. And you mentioned already cooperation with Croatia. Since Croatia is the last member that joined the European Union, I was wondering, what did Croatia do to help you in this path, and what is expected from Croatia to do in the future on your path to the European Union? Thank you very much.
Maybe from Croatia.
I'm from Croatia.
Maybe we should ask the ambassador of Croatia. The gentleman over there.
Minister, my name is Paul Heinen. I'm the Belgian ambassador to the OSCE, and thanks to the alphabet, I have the privilege, my delegation has the privilege to be the neighbor of the Bosnian delegation, and we're practicing every day good neighborly relations, I can assure you. My question concerns your Euro-Atlantic aspirations, and when I listened carefully, you said something about your expectations: peace and security, economic affairs, rule of law, and anti-corruption. That looks very much as the 3 dimensions of the OSCE. So my question to you is, what's the relevance of an organization like the OSCE for your country? I'm convinced about the relevance, but the organization is less well known. You're in that organization already. You have your Euro-Atlantic organizations elsewhere. And maybe you can tell us something what you're going to tell Minister Kurz, who is the chairman in office for the moment. Thank you.
Thank you. And the lady back there, yes? You? No? Yes.
Hi, I'm Yasmina, former alumni here at the Diplomatic Academy. There was a question earlier what you will do to change the system. I'm going to ask you, what will you do to change the foreign ministry? You said earlier that you're not sure if you have the capacity to answer the questionnaire, etc. And this institution has yielded many young people that would very much like to participate in that process, but we don't always know how people get into the ministry, how ambassadors are appointed. we don't know how the system works, and this is emblematic of a broader system. Yeah? What will you do to change the foreign ministry?
Okay, and the very, very, very last question here.
Hello, my name is Ms. Dedic. I'm a representative of banking industry here in Austria. I would like to ask a question about the economic interests of Russia in Bosnia and Herzegovina, in specifically, for example, a company called Zarubezhneft and the investments in oil industry in Bosnia. How does this go with the European path of Bosnia and Herzegovina? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I apologize to those who also wanted to ask a question. We are under time pressure. Minister, your answers.
Thank you. I'm
Very
sorry.
difficult questions.
I'm sorry. We'll have to stop here because it seems if we had more time, that it would get more and more interesting. Yeah. So, okay. First, I go to Dejan in Doboj. Actually, I did not say that we will have the increase of the rule of law once we are there. I hope we will have some of it during the process, because I think that when we become candidates, when we have candidate status, the pressure, positive pressure, will be much bigger on our judiciary system. And I can feel some of the, maybe frustration is a strong word, about the situation back home. And I share this with you, because I cannot explain to myself, and let alone to anybody else, why we cannot have not one single high-level corruption case prosecuted. And certainly the answer is not because we do not have corruption. On the contrary, it's on very high level. So I think from your comment, you said there will not be, you would bet €1 million that nothing will change. 2 million euros. So nothing would change if you would only go back to what would those people who do all this like. But I think and I hope and I believe that this process will help us who really want the change to create this positive pressure. And let me just shortly go back to the country report of European Commission of Bosnia and Herzegovina on this. For the first time, this very same day when it was out, there was a statement by Commissioner Hahn saying that on the corruption issues, on the rule of law, they will not accept any more big talks about action plans, short-term programs, long-term programs, and things like that. We had enough nice documents. We want answers to the questions. How many indictments did you have? How many verdicts did you have? How many sentences and things like that? And so far, the answer was always 0, 0, 0 on everything of this. So this pressure is already coming. So I appeal on you to have a little bit more optimism on this and to be with us who really want this change. Just a small thing. It's just an interesting detail, you know. For 7 years, we had no progress on European integration and on reforms in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And in those 7 years, the name of the document that European Commission issued every fall, every autumn, was the progress report on this and this country. And the first year we made progress, they changed the name to country report. So when we had really progress, they changed the name. But it's good that we have progress, no matter the name. Let's not lose time on what is the benefit for EU. I think this is the question. Maybe you had Davor Stier here a couple of weeks ago. Maybe it was the question for him better than mine. I hope that they have some interest, and I think that they have some interest because they wouldn't be pushing this enlargement policy so strongly if they didn't have the benefit. And on the issue how to get people like you back home to help, we need separate, not evening, but probably a week to discuss on this. But believe me that how things move on, we will look for ways to get people like you back, because it's not always easy, and often it's not possible because sometimes people find their own commodity, find their own routines. They get families, kids who are born a long way from the home. Sometimes it's hard to get them back, but believe me, we will try. The question from the I forgot the name, Mostar girl, the January 9. I think for 20 years there was celebration of January 9 that was attended by the ambassadors, by people who represented the different countries. Everybody was there, and there was no problem about this. Then there was this appeal by Mr. Izetbegovic, followed 4 years later by the ruling of the Constitutional Court, and then we entered this mess. I think that it was unnecessary. We do not have, and it's important for everybody to know, we do not have an agreement, political agreement, on not one single holiday in the country, except New Year's Eve and International Labor Day on May 1st. Because everybody in former Yugoslavia roasted lamb on that day and had fun in the field. And that's the only 2 days we could agree on. Can you imagine that we cannot even agree on May 9, which is the day of Europe, which is the day of when we beat fascism? It is only celebrated in one part of the country, not in both of them. So we do not have political agreement on this, and it is wrong. It is picking the finger in somebody's eye when you question the other part, the other side's holidays. We should, until we have the final agreement, we should celebrate any holiday we want to celebrate. Of course, there will never be a lot of applauding to January 9 in Federation. The very same way that there will not be applauding in Republika Srpska about November 25 or March 1st. But is that the most important thing? I think it's not. Croatia, we have very good cooperation, a couple of statements here and then, but it shouldn't be something that is put in front. I think Croatia and Serbia as well are producing some very good messages, some constructive approach to Bosnia. Croatian people in Croatia and Croatian people in Bosnia and Herzegovina is the same people. So it's logical that they are interested, very much interested. We have come to the very final phase of having this document of European partnership between Croatia and Bosnia and Herzegovina. It should be signed in a matter of weeks. So this support is technical and also political, and we expect this to continue. We expect Croatia to be behind our backs on this. We had 1,003 kilometers of border. It is the biggest, if you take this as a criteria, neighbor of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and I think with this government we can work. I have very often contacts with Davor Ivo Stier. We spoke this afternoon, and I can say that we expect only the best from this. I would thank also the Belgian ambassador to OSCE for his comments and questions. I know it's easy. It's not easy for him sitting every day next to Sanyin, but sometimes it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Yeah. No, I'm joking. We have also not only Ambassador Leko, we have Ambassador to OSCE, Ambassador Halimovic also doing a very good job. So I'm sure you cooperate very well. Yes, I haven't thought about what you said, that actually these expectations among the people are very close to what OSCE stands for. Maybe it was not intentional, but we appreciate very much the work of OSCE, and this is the organization that probably, even throughout history, if you look at last 20 years, probably the international organization that had the least criticism by any side in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And I think it is the organization that is really genuinely accepted from the very beginning of this, let's call it Dayton, Bosnia and Herzegovina, really accepted by everybody. And we also, as you know, try to contribute and to be part of OSCE's successes as much as we can. And you can be sure that this will be the part also of discussions with Minister Kurz and not only tonight, but we follow very closely what they are planning for this year and the priorities, and we will be part of it. Probably also the question that would need another session, or special session, is the situation in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Come back?
Yes. So I'll try to be very brief on this. It's look, we are the only country, at least as I know, in this part of Europe that does not have the legislation, the actual law on foreign affairs and how it's conducted in the country. We have, I'll just give you a couple of crazy things. Probably you will not even believe when I tell you. When ambassador is appointed, my influence is, the cameraman will not be offended because I took him as an example. Formally, we have the same influence. Of course, politically, member of presidency is an honorary president of a political party where I'm vice president, and we have political colleagues, so obviously we will speak about some solutions. But formally, since some 10 years ago, presidency of Bosnia and Herzegovina makes the appointments of ambassadors by themselves without any role of Ministry of Foreign Affairs. At the same time, if we have any kind of complaints about ambassadors, we haven't had about our ambassadors here, but sometimes we do have. What we can do is maybe write to the presidency and say that we are not satisfied with some of the things. And again, the only way to make some sanction for ambassador is if all three members of presidency agree on this. And of course, if let's say ambassador is from this Serbian quota, he would really have to do something very bad that his member of presidency votes against him. So we are in a very complex system of diplomacy as well. What I try to do is to pull the best out of what we have. And my authority is to appoint people around the world in this 56 representations of the country below the position of ambassador. So I really try to look at the competencies, look at the qualities of those people. And we are finishing now the first process of having 9 new young diplomats. And I hope we'll have another one this year and another one next year. And I hope we'll get some fresh blood through this and that you will see some change in the upcoming time. And final question was about economic interests of Russia in Bosnia and Herzegovina and this connection of this with our European integration aspirations. Well, Bosnia and Herzegovina has quite good relations with Russia. And I met in the last year and a half Minister Lavrov 3 times. We have a lot of other meetings as well. It is clear to them what is our goal. This is EU. But also, we do want good relations with them. And there is not only political, but also some traditional, cultural relations, especially from Republika Srpska there. And this is not any kind of an obstacle to the processes we spoke about tonight. The economic involvement, especially with the companies you mentioned, is something I would rather not comment tonight, because it is far away from the issues that we are discussing. And I can only say that only the time will show if everything is like they want us to believe about these concrete investments. So I do not think these investments that you mentioned or any other economic interest of Russia will be an obstacle, will be a slowdown for our European integration processes. That is the shortest answer to this.
Thank you very much. I know you're now in a hurry, so let me quickly thank you in the name of all present. Present you with a small gift to remind you of your visit here to the Academy and wish you and your country all the best.